Alright guys, Dusty's here, and in this video we're diving into something I'm genuinely excited about, the massive new patch coming to Dune Awakening. If you've opened Steam lately, you've probably seen it teasing in the newsfeed, and yes, it's real, it's happening, and it's going live shortly after the Deep Desert wipe. This update is more than just your usual round of tweaks. This one's major. It's one of those rare dev updates that actually feels like they've been listening. Like they're not just checking boxes but genuinely responding to the community, especially PvP and solo players alike. So buckle in, we're going to break down all the key changes, what they mean for you whether you're a lone scavenger or part of a tight PvP squad, and why this could be a huge step forward for the game. Alright then, let's start with something important, something the devs finally said out loud and made super clear. They are not trying to force PvE players into PvP. That's a big deal. I mean, sure, this is Dune. Conflict is part of the world, but the idea that everyone has to sweat it out 24/7 in hyper sweaty PvP just to experience Endgame, that was a problem. But now they're working on making the transition smoother, more optional. Players who want to stay PvE focused or want to explore the endgame without immediately getting steamrolled finally have a path, and that's not just respectful, that's a smart design. The devs even acknowledged that the current Deep Desert endgame wasn't working for everyone. You drop into Deep Desert as a solo or a small group, you're gathering resources, doing your thing, then boom, a squad of 10 decked out players with rocket ornithopters shows up and end your run in a second. Not exactly a great experience, but they heard that. Now let's talk about the gameplay changes, the juiciest stuff. The biggest one is the partial warfare PvE zones. Yes, parts of the Deep Desert are getting reflagged. This means you'll still be able to gather those juicy tier 6 resources. Let's be real, have been nearly impossible for solo players to get so far, but without constant fear of a surprise ornithopter raid ruining your day. This is a huge win for solo players, small squads, and honestly just anyone who enjoys the thrill of survival without the constant anxiety of being haunted by a PvP mega guild. It gives players room to breathe, to explore, to build up, and to get a taste of the endgame content before diving all the way into high-risk zones. Now don't get it twisted, they're not abandoning PvP, the most lucrative parts of the Deep Desert. Those are staying fully PvP. And honestly, that's the way it should be. If you're like me and you're living for those big fights, for the adrenaline of open world combat, this update still has plenty for us. They are striking a balance, and it's the right one. Safe zones for players trying to gear up or just experience the world. It's a smarter, more layered approach for the endgame content. Next up is something a lot of us PvP players have been begging for. Balance changes. You know how oppressive those scout toppers have been, right? They dominate fights, zip around with insane mobility, and just melt groups with unlimited rocket spam. It wasn't healthy for the game either. Well, the devs heard us. Ornithopters are getting nerfed, reduced maneuverability, increased vulnerability, and fewer free kills from the sky. On top of that, we're finally getting a new infantry-based rocket launcher. That's huge for ground players trying to push back against air dominance. Now, I'll be real with you, this one's a double-edged sword. Just today I rolled up to an Imperial station with 2 friends, and we got hit by a squad with infinite rocket spam. Like, how many rockets you carrying, bro? So, while ornithopters were a problem, infantry rocket spam could be the next meta issue. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out, but the bigger picture is that they're listening, balancing and trying to support combined arms combat, air, infantry, vehicles, all working in tandem. That's their vision. Now let's shift gears to the Landsraad. This is the game's new faction-based endgame framework, and it's still in early access days, but it's got serious potential. Right now, sure, it's a little grindy, mostly crafting tasks, material hand-ins, repeatable quests, kinda feels like busy work, but the devs admitted it. This is just the skeleton, the first pass. What matters is what they're building on it. So they're already talking about adding more variety, dungeons, bosses, special assignments, even raids. Yep, actual raids. And from the sound of it, they're not talking grab a quest and wait type raids, but full-on strategic assaults, maybe raiding bases for points or coordinated strikes for big payouts. The Landsraad could be the glue that ties all endgame system together, PvE, PvP, crafting, exploration, all fitting into one cohesive ecosystem. Speaking of improvements, here's another underrated win, micro rewards and improved task pacing. Right now, one of the biggest frustration for smaller groups is how quickly tasks get completed by Zerg guilds, leaving you with nothing to turn in, but they're addressing that. They're working on a system that gives more time, more window of opportunity, and more gradual progress rewards, so it's not all or nothing. This lets smaller squads actually compete, and it keeps the experience rewarding if you're not playing 10 hours a day with a mega clan. And that's massive. At the end of the day, this update isn't just about content, it's about philosophy. The devs are showing they're treating this like a partnership with the community. They're listening and adjusting. They're not afraid to admit missteps, and that's honestly refreshing in the live service space. As Stephen King said, wish in one hand, well, you know the rest. But this time it doesn't feel like wishful thinking. This patch feels like momentum, like direction. So whether you're a PvE player who's felt locked out of the endgame or a PvP player craving better system and more depth, this update is a big step forward, and I, for one, am hyped to see where we go from here. If you watch all the way through, thank you, drop a like, hit the sub, and if you want more Dune Awakening updates, guides, breakdowns, or just to hang out with the community, let me know your thoughts on the patch in the comments. What you're most excited about, what are you still hoping they fix next. Alright, that's it for now, I'll see you guys in the sand. Much love, and as always, peace out.